G'day ladies and gents, welcome to War Thunder with Mags, and welcome aboard the P-51D NA. Now recently I've had a number of requests to show the P-51 in action, and I really haven't, and this is largely because, well, as I've showed in previous videos where I've covered the P-51, I'm not a particularly great P-51 pilot. I'm not sure what it is about the plane. I actually love the plane and its history, I love the way it handles and everything that it does. I have not been the right hands to handle this aircraft, at least in the past. And a big part of it for me is I haven't had that match that makes you truly fall in love with an aircraft. Until this one. Now, the correct way to fly a P-51 Mustang is as a high-altitude interceptor that engages enemy targets by using high-angle, high-speed, slashing, boom and zoom style attacks. What's interesting about this match is this is not how I flew it. At its highest point, I think I only ever hit 10,000 feet in the P-51. I flew it as a low altitude fighter. I've never tried this before, and the result I got just blew me away. Now, I'm not suggesting that this is how the P-51 should really be flown or anything along those points. In fact, I caution against it. It just seems to be something that worked for me, and a lot of learning how to fly different aircraft in War Thunder isn't just learning how the aircraft should be flown, but how you most effectively fly it. The P-51 is an aircraft that I think in the past I've been seriously overthinking. I have been trying to fly it in a style that doesn't mesh with the way I like to fly aircraft, and the second I take a shot at flying it outside that style, well, this match happens. Now first up, spotted a Doe 217 approaching in over the river, heading for the area bombing target. There is a P-63 already on its tail. I decide I'm going to drop down and try and give him a little bit of assistance. I'm only at 5,000 feet, I haven't exactly cleared a huge amount of altitude yet. And while the P-63's 37mm cannon is more than capable of dealing with this aircraft all on its own, bombers in patch 1.39 are resistant to death. So coming in and giving them a little bit of assistance and trying to take out the 217 before it hits the area bombing target it's usually welcomed. So taking the first shots, just put some hits in on the wing. Almost fly through the, I do fly through the arc of fire from the P-63. Luckily no hits were taken. That was a very stupid mistake on my behalf. Roll it around for a second pass, but he's nailed the target. It's on fire, so I just bank away. Keep in the area just in case the fire goes out and a second pass is needed, but no reason to dive back in. And a third P-51 has dove in to provide a little bit of extra fire as well, but the P-63 takes the air kill. Unfortunately, however, we didn't take it down fast enough. The 217 did manage to take out the area bombing target, and this has also left me at about 2,400 feet. When I'm 3 minutes into the match. There's no way known I'm going to be able to get the altitude advantage now, so now I'm trying to get altitude up to sit in mid-altitude and start intercepting ground pounders basically. Any Germans that are mowing the lawn are going to become my prey, and I'm going to have to trust that the premium Spitfire above me and the B-17s will distract any aircraft that are currently at a higher altitude to give me the chance to be able to work over the ground targets and drag them down to my altitude. So just cruising into level flight, observing dots on the horizon and targets lit up. There are two Focke-Wulf 190s on the horizon, one is equal to my altitude, one is below my altitude, both ground pounding, trying to intercept low flying B-17s. So I already have two targets beneath me that I can deal with. I've just got a close distance on them. I spike into a burst climb. I do surrender to below 300 kilometers an hour there, but I needed to get a bit of altitude as quickly as possible so I could afford to level out and let the airspeed build up. The D-13 NA, while it is an incredibly fast aircraft, sub 400 kilometers an hour, does accelerate very, very slowly. So it takes a bit of time to wind this aircraft up to its potential speed, especially if you don't have a dive available. Now I was looking just over my left wing. I can see an additional two dots at low altitude that likely aren't ours, so we have 4 aircraft at low altitude. And just checking my tail, the P-63 is heading back to base for a rearm. He's jammed his 37mm in the process of taking out the 217, but the P-51 is coming in just over top of the river, so I have backup in the area. Focke-Wulf 190 is being chased from altitude by the premium Spitfire. He's doing a very nice job of it. and I'm now about 8 kilometres out of combat. Just checking ahead, there are other dots. I can't see exactly how far they are. I have no distance to gauge how far they are away. First target has been red box, however, just off to my left. I'm just checking over to my right, making sure there's nothing on that B-17. You'll notice I'm not using the zoom function to check for dots in the distance. This is because when you zoom in, at particular distances, the dots will actually disappear as the plane stops rendering a dot, or the game engine rather, stops rendering a dot and starts rendering the actual plane's physical model. Zooming in can, at certain distances, make the dots harder to see rather than easier. So, first target selected, Focke-Wulf 190 D-13. It's passing directly below me. Take it into a sharp dive, get my airspeed up. Closing in, take first shots. Now my aim with the 50 calibers is slowly improving, but not by a lot. It is taking me time. Another thing to remember with the P-51 is its speeds, it's your control, is very limited. Now I'm not sure what this D-13 pilot here thought he was doing, rolling the plane like that. For anyone that's new to flying Focke-Wulf 190s, the roll rate is incredible, but it will not do anything to save you from being shot by bullets. The long axis of your aircraft remains the same, and rolling like that is likely just going to get you killed. First kill of the match. Second D-13 incoming, duck the plane underneath, take it straight into a roll, or into a loop rather. Slight aileron roll just to bring myself in on the D-13. Keeping the weapon, trying to keep my speed up, just cut in underneath him again. He turns back, trying to scissor. Get the guns around. He loops past and takes it into the vertical. Now this is a big mistake. The D-13 actually has lower energy retention at lower speeds than the P-51 does. So going into that climb, cost him his plane. Second kill. Roll to invert to get my nose back towards the ground. Roll out and keep it pointed down, try and get my airspeed back up because I was on the edge of stalling. And begin scanning for new targets. Now there is a 109 spotting aircraft at high altitude. I was checking that out as an initial, but there are too many enemy fighters still up for me to go chasing AI just yet. Just keeping a monitor around. There were 3 other aircraft in this area just before and they all appear to have vanished. I have no visual on dots or visual on aircraft. And then shots fired. Focke-Wulf 190, high and above, is diving down. That's an A5. Roll the plane underneath. Select a high angle elevation turn. Aileron roll to bring myself back onto its tail. Continuing follow. I tap the combat flaps on and off here to give me a little bit of an edge in the turn to bring it around. He rolls and reverses the turn. Bring it around underneath. I keep the weapon to try and keep speed up. He is trying to outrun me and evade at the moment. Try some speculative lead shots. Get a tap. No critical, however. Second hit. I've done elevator damage. You can see it by the way he's wobbling around. He's still intending to elevate a turn, but he's taken damage there. I have gotten inside my convergence range, which is the problem. However, I get a hit on and set him on fire. And then a 190F comes through with the wing pods on. Now this is a slow, low maneuverability aircraft with these on, ideal for hunting bombers. Pull straight onto its tail. I'm shooting at distance and another fireball. A couple of extra shots just to confirm the kill, make sure the damage is critical. Pull back for altitude. And down he goes. 4th kill. And from here the match is over. There's only 1 enemy aircraft still in the air. I only have 55 rounds of ammunition, so I need to RTV to reload, but our B-17s have been working over ground targets hard, and as you can see we're about to win the match via ground forces victory. So I turn back towards base, keep the weapon to vacate the combat area. I have no ability to defend myself anymore if the 190 was to suddenly come out of the cloud, so I want the speed on. I also seem to have become very popular with AAA. And now I just wait for the ticket counter to end the match. So let's go through to the results. So the results for this match: first place for the team with 4 kills, final blow, Terror of the Skies and Bulletproof awards, 118,575 Silver Lions, and 16,705 aircraft research points on a premium account, but I'd already popped the daily double on this one, so this was just the premium account and standard victory rewards. And this was the match that finally made me fall in love with the P-51 in-game. What's interesting about it is that I flew it nothing like the plane should have been flown, yet managed to pull the best result I've ever had in the aircraft. As a result of this match, I actually started a power run on the P-51 and knocked over the last 60,000 RP for the P-80 in the space of about an hour and a half. And with that complete, that means I only have Germany left to unlock any aircraft in. The other 4 nations are now complete. Now my next match is in the Focke-Wulf 190 D-13, the German premium fighter. You'll notice I'm flying a lot of premiums recently, and this is because, well, much like everybody else, I'm trying to grind my way through all the new aircraft. As I complete each nation, I no longer have a need to continue playing premium aircraft within that nation. So my aircraft that I play with tends to become vastly more varied very quickly. Now the start of this match was a pretty standard climb to altitude, heading straight towards the enemy runway. I didn't veer off to the side with this one at all. And I've just hit engagement altitude at 15,000 feet against the enemy fighters. We have a F4U Corsair up here, a number of premium Spitfires, a couple of P-51s. It's a pretty standard lineup overall. There are a number of B-17s at low altitude, but thankfully we have a number of 30mm equipped aircraft that are already going for those to remove them for the match. So everyone's in the right place at the right time. Select first fighter. There's an F4U that's engaging one of our 190s. Now I'm aware I have a premium Spitfire above me at the moment. I want to keep my airspeed up to make it difficult for him to dive in and be able to catch me. I know he's targeting me at this time. The F4U, however, moves into the cloud cover. So I move to pursue, but trying to track an aircraft, especially when I'm 2 Ks behind it as it heads into the clouds, is very, very, very difficult. You lose the red box, and if you lose the dot, it's very hard to reacquire it. So as you can see, I begin checking around, and then I spot this premium Spitfire. Now the F4U broke off that Focke-Wulf 190 and has already taken damage. This Spitfire has fallen back onto it, so we're about to lose a 190 unless I manage to clear this guy's tail. Take the plane into a dive. I've turned the WEP off because I've put the oil on the edge of overheat. I'm keeping my airspeed high, however. Throttle back, I'm about to overshoot the Spitfire. He turns up and left. I move in a wide turn to follow. Back to WEP for the climb. I need to maintain airspeed. He's fallen back onto the D-13. That's a bit of a distant shot, but score hits. And he begins to manoeuvre. I didn't give anywhere near enough lead on that shot. But I know my Spitfires well. Why I may not have got a critical indicator, the way the aircraft is wallowing to one side, I've taken off its left-hand side elevator, I've likely done rudder damage, which is why its stability's out, and that oil leak is engine damage as well. So this plane is in a bad, bad way. And sure enough, he is unable to pull out of his dive and smacks it. But I have another teammate to rescue. Our 109G is running low and fast and has had a P-51 intercept him, so it's time to clear his tail. He was flying at low altitude before, attempting to remove some of the B-17s from the match, so it's only fair that I make sure he stays alive. Second 190 dives in to try and assist as well, but overshoots the dive. Take a distant shot, fireball the P-51. Back to WEP, start climbing for altitude again. Now I'm being very watchful at this point because I'm aware I now have a problem. I'm second place in score for the team and I have the entire enemy team sitting above my head, and there are some pretty good pilots above. Luckily most of them seem to be busy with higher altitude fighters at the moment, which is allowing me to slip out, but however I am still being very, very, very watchful. All it'll take is one of them to fall over at the moment and they have a definitive energy advantage and could use it to quite easily kill me. So I'm trying to get myself into the clear. The F4U seems to be busy, however we have a Spitfire that is diving out of the sky at the moment. Now, if he's going to come down to my altitude, I'll definitely have a go. But what I haven't realised at this point in time is exactly how far I've advanced across the map. I am yet to make the connection, but I'm almost on top of the enemy airbase. This guy has actually taken critical damage in a firefight and has used the last of his engine power before his engine has died to dive towards the runway and try and get himself down for a repair. The runway is clearly in front of me at the moment. I still actually haven't realised it's there. I've definitely target fixated. I'm checking my tail. I know that F4U's back there. I'm not particularly worried about it at the moment. It's being swarmed hard. B-17 is ahead, but it's being heavily engaged and is crippled. So I begin the dive down and I'm following the Spitfire. And it was about at this point that I realised that that's the enemy runway right in front of me. I'm about to fly into some of the heaviest flak on this map. I continue the dive through, but he slams it into the trees. The plane was crippled. In a way, I'm glad I didn't take that shot, because that would have been a clean kill steal from somebody who obviously earned that kill. However, I still have an F4U behind me, and I'm right on top of the airbase. If I turn, they're going to the AAA is going to have an easy shot at my plane and could potentially kill me. So the easiest way to get out of this situation is actually to go straight through and take out all the AAA on the way. So I boom through fast, and I've taken the entire right-hand side AAA down. I missed one at the initial start, and I flick back. That F4U has moved in and is moving in for a kill on me. Unfortunately, I took wing damage in there somewhere, and the plane's wobbling around a little bit under mouse turning. F4U tries to head on, put a critical hit into the airframe, and just bank away. I don't attempt to turn. By the time I've managed to complete a turn in this aircraft, I would have blown so much energy I'd never catch the F4U anyway. So I just return back, continue farming XP on the AI with the AAA. With so many AAA already taken down, what's left on the map is, well, almost easy kills. I did take a flak hit to the tail as well, which has not made my handling any better. Now I can't actually use the keyboard binds to elevator control, as it'll throw the plane into the ground if I attempt to do so. So I have to be very gentle on mouse control. However, the critical hit on the F4U finally takes effect and it slams into the ground, and that's my third kill of the match. And that was it. That's all enemy forces eliminated. So let's check out the results. Now, I had a small issue when I was doing the results for this one, because I had a connection interruption right as the game was trying to bring up and finalise my results. So this was on during the last bout of X4s, however it didn't bring up the modifiers for the X4. However, I did screenshot the results. So the real results for the match was first place with 3 kills and 7 ground targets, 94,897 silver lines, but I suffered a 2,191 credit repair bill, so yeah, 92,000 profit, and 63,932 aircraft research points on a premium account on an X4. Not a bad result overall, and that was a good chunk of research taken out of the CL-13A. The CL-13A will probably be the next aircraft that I unlock. I think at this stage in time I only have about 40,000 RP left to go on it. So the D-13, as good and reliable a grinder as she always has been, and the P-51D 20NA, a plane that I finally think I've got my mojo on in. I'm looking forward to bringing it out a little bit in the future as new aircraft are unlocked, but for the moment I'll be flying other things as I no longer have a reason to grind the US line anymore. Anyways, ladies and gents, I'm going to call this one here. Click like if you do, subscribe if you want to see more, fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you in the skies.